a new definition of the word infrastructure. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand tweeted this today ahead of Biden's latest infrastructure pitch. Paid leave is infrastructure. Childcare is infrastructure. Caregiving is infrastructure. That's right. If you thought infrastructure was just bridges, highways, roads, airports, you are a fool. You must be, because all that stuff accounts for less than 10% of the Democrats' new explosively large, expensive, and very wasteful infrastructure bill. But since Democrats are expanding the definition, Republicans have decided to jump in on the action as well. Senator Ted Cruz tweeting out, abortion is infrastructure, gun control is infrastructure, forced unionization is infrastructure, whatever the left wants is infrastructure. Our friends at the Daily Wire had an even better one, writing, ranch dressing is infrastructure. Who knew? The new Democrat bill, Biden's words, and especially Gillibrand's tweet, are enough to make your brain melt. The stupidity on this is staggering. Even crazy left Keith Olbermann fired back at Kirsten Gillibrand. No, Senator, these are all vital needs. I would argue they are as important as nuts and bolts and grids and networks, but when you drain a word of its meaning, you damage its impact, your cause, and the value of language. Now, to be fair, we don't expect much from Kirsten Gillibrand. The most complex thing about this senator is the pronunciation of her name. Not sure if you remember this classic Gillibrand moment.
Gay rights, loud and proud.
A very basic politician. Gillibrand was once a very moderate, almost right-leaning Democrat in some ways. But like most politicians, a lot of them have no real soul or compass. They'll do and say whatever leads to a re-election. They make pathetic, pandering videos yelling gay rights, so transparent even a child can identify as phony. This is why she didn't do well in the presidential election. Though these are the people that want to take over your life and regulate it, of course. How scary is that? And it's all a power grab, this bill. It's a massive expansion of government. That's the point. And President Biden is the left's vessel for this, a Trojan horse. He said he was moderate. He said he would work with Republicans. Yeah, right. Here was Biden today also trying to redefine infrastructure.
The idea of infrastructure has always evolved to meet the aspirations of the American people and their needs. And it's evolving again today.
Evolving, an evolving word. And as we've seen many times, you get Biden talking for more than 15 minutes on something, things start to get a little bit wonky. Take a look.
But to automatically say that the only thing that's infrastructure is a highway, a bridge, or whatever, that's just not rational. It really isn't. I think the vast majority of Americans think everything from the sewer pipes to the sewer facilities to the water pipes, I think they're infrastructure.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go along with the lead pipes because I do think that that's kind of fair on this. But we're not talking about that. What about $400 billion for home and community care? $174 billion for electric cars, dramatically more than roads, highways, and bridges that they would drive on. I guess it's only a couple $1 trillion at the end of the day. Who cares at this point? We got so much debt. And by the way, the evil, wealthy, and corporations are going to pay for it all, right? Yeah, right. Like we said, Biden can't keep this all straight, so he had to turn to his little note card for help. Take a look.
There's all kinds of opportunities. Just list all the tax breaks that I find difficult to explain. Wealthy deductions, $360 billion if you cap them, top rate of 39%, which it used to be for years, all the way to the Bush administration.
Imagine if you were trying to get $2 trillion and you didn't even know why. How scary is that? $2 trillion. There is some good news for us taxpayers, though. Biden's top ally in the Senate, Chris Coons, today on C-SPAN, essentially admitted that Biden knows a lot of this junk we're talking about will not make it into the final bill.
I do think that there is an opportunity here for us to come together around a smaller package. And by smaller, I mean hundreds of billions of dollars that is directly targeted at hard infrastructure.
Okay, hundreds of billions of dollars is actually something I think a lot of people, including myself, could get behind. I would love to see roads and bridges in major cities get redone. I'd love some nice new airports. That is an infrastructure plan, and it has bipartisan support. It has for years. The rest of the stuff in this bill, however, which is about 75% of it, needs to go, and hopefully it will. There is no shortage of woke corporations, though, willing to suck up to Biden to gain favor with the administration on this bill. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos released this statement last night. We recognize this investment will require concessions from both sides, from all sides, both on the specifics of what's included as well as how it gets paid for. We're supportive of a rise in the corporate tax rate. Crazy, right? Guy owns a business. Two ways to look at that comment from Bezos. Neither of them are any good. Either he's so scared of the left he's working against his own interest as a businessman, which says something about this country, or, and maybe worse, he's fighting for a tax increase he knows he can absorb, but his competition cannot. Let's move away, though, from infrastructure here for a second and on to immigration. An article today in the New York Times perfectly illustrates the problem with liberals in control of this issue. Take a look. We are doomed, its headline. Devastation from storms fuels migration in Honduras. The piece goes on to say Honduras has barely begun to recover from two hurricanes that hit late last year. With relatively little disaster relief from the U.S., many are heading for the border. Notice the level of Honduran entitlement just baked right into this article. If you didn't know any better, you would think Honduras was our 51st state. It's not. With little disaster relief from the U.S., many are heading to the U.S. border. So Honduras has hurricanes, and because we didn't give the nation enough money, another country, we now have to adopt their people? Democrats and the liberal media agree the United States is essentially the World Bank. It is on us to solve the issues of the world. This is just status quo for their line of thinking. But what do you think? Do you feel obligated to fix all the problems of Honduras after they had a hurricane? And if we fail at that, do you feel obligated to adopt these people into your own society? With Trump in charge, this kind of nonsense was changing very fast. America first, right? It's so common sense, it's scary to think that so many people disagree, that people think Honduras is entitled to our money when they have a problem. It's unbelievable. We do have some breaking news on the border tonight as well. Texas state agencies have reported allegations of sexual abuse and child neglect at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, which is housing migrants, a lot of migrants. Governor Greg Abbott says this is all happening on the president's watch. Take a listen.
Children at this facility are being sexually assaulted. Second, there are not enough staff to safely supervise the children at this facility. Third, some children in this facility are not eating throughout the day. And fourth, children with COVID are not being physically separated from children without COVID.
We're going to talk about all this with a couple congressmen here in just a second. But meanwhile, Jen Psaki today actually addressed my favorite story of the week, the reports that the Biden administration is going to finish parts of Donald Trump's border wall. Take a listen.
There are some components of the wall that had already been allocated, the funding to continue building by Congress. So we're working within what is allowable. But our focus is not, we don't believe the wall is an answer.
So the wall's not an answer, but yeah, we're probably going to fill those gaps because obviously the wall is the answer. Nice messaging. We told you yesterday about Kamala Harris's visit to a Chicago bakery with the city's joke of an attorney general in Kim Foxx. A photo op instead of visiting the border, which the border czar still has not been to. Psaki had to answer about that as well.
And so while she was there, like many Americans, she got a snack. I think she's allowed to do that. They're all related to each other, but addressing the being responsible and in the lead on the Northern Triangle is working with these countries in the region, addressing the root causes, working with them on how we can address issues like long-term food insecurity, drought, the COVID-19 pandemic, hurricanes, etc. That's what she's focused on. I don't have an update on when she'll travel.
Yeah, she seems really focused, by the way. Another useless answer from the White House, like most of them, to be honest. And we're back to the root causes, by the way. You notice that. Democrats expecting the American taxpayer to pay to fix the problems of other countries. And if we can't, we must pay for them to come here and live. And that's what we're doing right now. We're spending a lot of money on the border. What a hilarious society we now live in. How much money do you think the rest of the world would send us if we had a massive disaster? How much? I'd estimate around $0. Kamala was forced to at least acknowledge the border crisis today. That's a start. This might be the first time she has since taking the lead on immigration. She tweeted out a picture of her behind the desk And she said, I spoke with President Lopez Obrador of Mexico today to thank him for his cooperation on migration issues. I look forward to working with him to address the root causes of migration by improving conditions for people in the region, including in southern Mexico. So basically, yeah, we're just going to start sending money everywhere we can to make the world better so they don't come here. That's the Democrats' version of leadership on this. Sitting behind a desk making a single phone call in 15 days.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.